Texters, bit by bit, we are getting along in our Master Excel in 30 Days Challenge journey. Today, day 13, we are exploring how to look up values using functions such as index and VLOOKUP. This is also going to be an interesting ride, and I want to see you come along.
Like I said earlier, we will be looking at lookup and reference functions. Now let me give you a practical example of what lookup and reference functions are all about. So for example, we've had hints that the most expensive car is in row 15, right? So we would like to know if this car has been sold to a second owner or is still with the first owner. Lookup functions such as index and VLOOKUP can help you to achieve this. So we are going to dive right ahead and look at how we can practically use this in Excel. This is the database we used for our previous video. The only change is that I introduced a new column and then automatically filled it with unique keys. That's 1 to the last number. Alright, we are going to use the functions index and then VLOOKUP. Let's start with index. Now, when using index helps you to find the core feature of a particular row. So for example, if I'm looking for the selling price of Hyundai in row 7, then I could easily use index function to achieve that. Alright, so we are going to take a few questions on index and then a few questions on VLOOKUP as well. So our first question is, can we find the selling price of the Maruti in row 15? So like I said, we had hints that the highest selling priced car is in row 15. So we'd like to know. Now, it could be easy to assume that, well, row 15 is just here. Why don't I just scroll to whatever row they are talking about and then fetch whatever data I want to work with? But imagine you're working with a huge data set and then this hint was not in row 15, but maybe it was in row 60,504. Are you going to be scrolling to that particular row just to go and find that Maruti and then find its selling price? No. So this is one of the ways to help you make your work easier, even in data analysis. So let's write our function. First of all, I'm just going to create a dummy table, Maruti. So I'm now going to look for who the owner is for this Maruti in row 15. Once again, let's go to our formula builder and then read more about index. So it says it returns a value or a reference of the cell at the intersection of a particular row and column in a given range. Okay, so back to our cell, we are going to put the result in cell I3. So I'll go to my formula bar, equal to sign, index, and this is the formula. It says the argument is give it the array, the data set you are working with where you can find what you are looking for, then give it the row number and the column number, and then we are good to go. Okay, so we are going to do just that. So I'm going to start with this. So I'm going to highlight our whole table so that Excel will automatically pick the range for me. Now look at how I do that. I come to one where I want it to start, not at the heading because I don't need the headings. Then Control Shift right bottom, it highlights everything. Can you see that? So I have A22, F8129. So that is my range, comma, my row number. So we're told it's in row 15. It's in row 15. And then what exactly am I looking for? We are looking at the ownership status. We are trying to look for the ownership status. So the ownership status is in column. Let's count column 1 as A, B, 2, C, 3, D, 4, E in the 5th column. So we have to write 5. Close braces, enter, and we have second owner. So let's check and see. Go to row 15, Maruti. Yes, it's the second owner, so this is right. So that's how simply you can use index. Other than that, you would have just gone through the normal place to look up something, that is go through your search bar and then try to search for Maruti, and then note we have a number of Marutis here, so you'll be going through them one after the other to look at the one with the highest selling price before. I mean, it's a very cumbersome process. So this is an assured way of getting your results quicker. Now let's do one other example. Okay, so I have Tata. I've been told that Tata is one of the cars that has the least kilometers driven. So now we want to find out what is the selling price of Tata. So I'm just going to write Tata here so we know we are looking for Tata. Now come to my formula bar, equal to sign, index, highlight my table again, this, Control Shift right, Control Shift down. So it automatically selects it for me, comma. Don't forget your row number. Tata was in row 25, comma. And then we are looking at finding the selling price. Now the selling price is in which column? The previous one we did, E was column 5. So definitely F is column 6, where we have our selling price. So we then write 6. Bracket close, enter. So we have 500,000, which is actually accurate because when we go to number 25 here, Tata has 500,000 as the selling price. Right, let's do one more example, then we move to VLOOKUP. So we'd like to know what is the full type of fiat in row 32. Fiat. So in our formula bar, equal to index, we go for our array by selecting the table, and then we mention our row 32, and then we are looking for full type. Full type is in column 3, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Full type is in column 4, so I just write 4. And then what should we expect? What should we expect? Let's check it before it gives us the answer. Row 32 fiat is supposed to be petrol. Enter. Right, so I have petrol here. So simply, this is how you can use index to look up values and features of a particular entity in your data set. Let's move to VLOOKUP. Now, VLOOKUP is also another way to look up values in your data set or core features in your data set. But the difference between index and VLOOKUP is that VLOOKUP can directly pick the text of what you are looking for. So if I'm looking for the selling price of Maruti, I can just go straight ahead and look for the selling price of Maruti. I don't need to go and look at the row number and then try and say, okay, go to this row number and then this column to go and look for a Maruti. No, that's how dynamic VLOOKUP is, or that's how different VLOOKUP is from index. So let's take a few examples. So I have this Renault here. I want to look up the selling price of the Renault in row 11. So first of all, let's come to our formula bar. Let's read about how to use VLOOKUP. So it says it looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from a column that you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in ascending order. And this is the syntax. VLOOKUP as the function name into brackets, the lookup value. When we say the lookup value, that's the Renault. We are trying to look for the selling price of what? Of Renault. So the Renault is the lookup value. The table array, we've seen how to look at that. The index, the column index num. So we are looking for the selling price of the Renault, and that is in cell F. So we have to get the number, the column number, and then the range lookup. Do you want a perfect match, or you want probably numbers in between, greater than or less than? We're going to look at that. Okay, so let's proceed. We are looking for the selling price of Renault, and so let's put the results here, equal to sign VLOOKUP. I'm looking for Renault, so make sure that the cell you are choosing to be your lookup value has the same spelling, the same casing as is in your table. So you can see the Renaults are the same. So I'm looking for Renault, comma, that's my lookup value. The table, I have to come to the table. The table, I have to choose this, Control Shift left down to highlight everything. It has, comma, the column index number. I'm looking for the selling price, which is in column 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm looking for an exact match. I'm looking for an exact match. Enter. Now we get N or A because the data set we are using has Renault repeated a number of times. So Excel is confused as to which one of the Reynolds am I talking about, right? So instead of just using Reynolds, for now, we know this is in row 11, right? So let's rather input 11 here, change it to 11, and then enter. So you see it gives us 500,000, which is actually right. That is the price of Reynolds. So had it been that Reynolds appears just once in our data set, this would have gone through. But we had to use 11 because 11 appears only once in the whole data set, and then it denotes the Reynolds row. That is why we went ahead with 11. So let's try another example. So I have a Mahindra here. I would like to know the fuel type of this Mahindra. I think Mahindra has repeated a couple of times, so we can't use Mahindra. So let's use 16. First, I'll type 16 here. My formula equal to VLOOKUP. First thing is lookup value. Lookup value H13, comma. Your table, select this, Control Shift left down, comma, column index number. I'm looking for the fuel type, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuel types are in column 4. I'm looking for an exact match, false. Enter. So it's saying it's petrol. Let's go have a look at it. 16 Mahindra is petrol, so we are right. Now you might be a bit confused. Here is row 17, but this is 16. I decided to name it like that because the first one is my heading, right? And then note, this is not going to affect it because as I'm working with this and I try to choose the table, I don't choose the table from here, right? I choose the table from here, 1. So it uses this new numbering. This column here is so onboarded. My data sets, according to my lookups, is starting from here to the last cell. So this is what we focus on. This just helps us to select, but this is what we focus on.
I guess this was not an easy one, but I hope you were able to understand concepts in this lesson. If you have any further questions or any concerns, just drop it in the comment section or reach out to us on our WhatsApp groups and then you'll be assisted. See you soon.